Hi, I'm Holly. If you're watching this, it's probably because you have maybe recently been diagnosed with celiac disease, or who knows, maybe you just want to find out a bit more about it. I just thought I'd basically do this video to talk about my own experience with it and my recent diagnosis, which has actually happened during coronavirus. So if anyone's going through a similar situation, then hopefully this will tell you you're not alone, because I'm going through the same thing. I should probably actually give a brief description of what celiac disease is for those of you who don't know. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disease where if you eat gluten, your body essentially attacks itself. That's a very, very brief description. Gluten is found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats that aren't specifically gluten-free, so you have to get gluten-free oats, which are a bit more expensive than normal oats. So, quick tea break. So, last year I was having a few kind of health issues which may or may not be related to celiac disease, but one of them, they found that I had low iron. Like, I wasn't anemic, but my iron levels were quite low. They didn't kind of investigate why that was, they just gave me some iron tablets. So that was probably one of the signs, potentially, looking back. Also, once every few months, I would have these crippling stomach aches that would last for hours. I mean, they were actually so bad, like, I thought I needed to go to the hospital, but I didn't, because they passed within a few hours. But I didn't really know why that was. Potentially, looking back, that was possibly to do with celiac disease, but they were sort of becoming more frequent. But the main issue was happening for a few months at the start of the year. Just skip a few seconds if you don't like to hear about toilet issues. Yeah, so without being into too much detail, I was having some issues with going to the loo, let's just say. So the doctor said that was probably IBS. However, I don't know, I just wasn't convinced, because this isn't really a problem that had been happening prior to this. And it was going on, and I kept going back to the doctors. They didn't really say much. That was that. And then my dad actually suggested I get tested for celiac disease, because my uncle has celiac disease. I thought, oh no, I can't have celiac disease. Like, I've been eating gluten all my life. I've had no issues. I don't have like constant stomach pains or diarrhea or anything like that, which I assumed that all people with celiac disease had. Turns out they don't, and actually you can have no symptoms. But anyway, I thought, okay, let's ask to be tested. So I was tested. I rang up for the blood test results, and they told me the normal range of this TTG blood test was 0 to 30, and mine was way over 4,000. So they were saying, you've pretty much like probably got celiac disease. The next step usually would be the biopsy. We would have a camera down your throat, an endoscopy. They would check for gut damage. So I got my blood test result just as the UK went into lockdown because of coronavirus. Therefore, obviously, all routine procedures were cancelled. I was continuing to eat gluten, had another stomach ache. The bowel issues were continuing. You wouldn't normally go gluten-free until you've had the biopsy, because you need to be eating gluten for the test to work. But due to the coronavirus circumstances, my GP said, go gluten-free now, and then 6 weeks before your biopsy, you will eat gluten again. I was told that my symptoms might come back worse once I reintroduced the gluten. So that was the situation. I went gluten-free with the help and advice from Coeliac UK, who are a really amazing charity. I would literally be lost without them, because Obviously, due to the circumstances, I haven't had much guidance or anything like that. I've not had an appointment with a dietitian, any of the usual things. Coeliac UK have just been an amazing resource. Definitely, if you're not a member, become a member, because it's just really is fantastic. There are a lot of variables, but my symptoms did seem to improve when I went gluten-free, and touch wood, I haven't had a stomachache properly since. I find it okay. Obviously there are things I miss, there are things I want to eat, but I've not found it too bad. However, I'm also aware that I haven't really been in a normal situation because of coronavirus, so I think, you know, once I go out more or once I go back to work, that will then become harder. And what I've actually found almost more difficult than getting food that's gluten-free is this whole cross-contamination business. So obviously when I went gluten-free, I just thought, oh, I can't eat, you know, gluten-containing cakes, breads, pizzas, that kind of thing. But there's actually a whole host of foods that may contain gluten or may contain wheat. Oh, that is so annoying. Yeah, a lot of things, like some chocolates, all kinds of things. Literally have to check the ingredients on everything. And also cross-contamination, so if you want to have chips in a restaurant, you actually have to make sure that they've been cooked in a separate fryer to kind of anything with breadcrumbs on it. You have to make sure your food has been prepared on a separate surface. I've come to learn that even if you don't have symptoms, even less than a crumb of gluten over time can actually obviously be really bad for you. I think that's going to be a little bit of a struggle, because I'm that person who hates like making a fuss in restaurants and stuff, but so far my advice would be to plan ahead and contact the restaurant before you go. Now I'm in a situation where I spoke to my gastroenterologist, I think that's how you say it, last week, and he said he was happy to kind of diagnose me based on my blood results alone due to the coronavirus situation, because my blood results were obviously very high, and I think it's something like more than 90% chance that I'm celiac, and he certainly seemed to think I was. However, he seemed to recommend that I do go ahead with the biopsy, so I am planning, whenever it will be, I'm sure it'll be a long time away, to have the biopsy and do the gluten challenge, which means eating gluten for 6 weeks. I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, I'm looking forward to having some of my old favourite foods again, but I'm not looking forward to the prospect of kind of undoing all my hard work and not being very well. I forgot to mention, since going gluten-free about 4 months ago, my TCG levels have more than halved. So again, that's another clue that, yes, I probably do have celiac disease. So yeah, my mum's actually being tested for it as well in the next few weeks, because it can be hereditary. Obviously my uncle has it, but we're just going to get her checked as well, because why not? Yeah, so really, if you are in the same boat as me, that you're kind of in this state of, you've half been diagnosed, you've not been able to have your biopsy, are you going to have your biopsy, you know, you're thinking all of these things, decisions, and everything's kind of been messed up a little bit, then let me know. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of us who are in that situation. It could be worse, you know. And also I'd be really interested to hear if anyone's actually done the gluten challenge and any tips, how you found it. I've actually started a gluten-free blog. I'll put the link in the description below. So yeah, check it out, and thank you for watching.